Hello again, everyone. It's great to be back with you. I'm Dr. Pat Huff, and we're going to be talking about some more truth and accountability today. The date is January 26th, 2017, and we're in a very unusual time period right now. The president, as of last Friday, put on hold his approval for the timeline to move forward on Every Student Succeeds Act that was passed back in December of 2015. The states have been busy trying to implement their policies in regards to the new federal program, and the president has put this on hold for a while. My assumption is that he wants to evaluate more about the federal legislation, and I'm glad that he is, because I hope there are a number of things that change with it. But also put on hold at that same time is the confirmation of Betsy DeVos to move forward as the Secretary of Education. Now, this is very important because we in the education community, as well as many parents around the country, see Betsy DeVos as, although she's a nice lady and does many philanthropic endeavors with her money, we don't see her as being qualified to lead the Department of Education. And the main reason why we view it that way is because she doesn't come from the education community. Now, President Trump, if you're listening, we ask, please, reconsider your support for Betsy DeVos. This is going to be a bad idea. And as we move forward, it's going to become very apparent that you are not thinking truly of the public school community when you approve Betsy DeVos to be your education secretary. Now, one of the things that Betsy DeVos was asked in the confirmation hearing was what were her thoughts about accountability. And so she went back and forth and she tried to answer the question, but she really didn't do the job that the senators wanted her to do or say in terms of accountability. And she had to just boil it down to that she was in favor of accountability. Well, we need to talk about that. We need to put it to rest. What does accountability mean for the public schools? Because it means one thing to the public, and it means something completely different to the education community. So let's get into that today. And once again, President Trump, if you're listening, I pray that you understand clearly what accountability means. Accountability got ramped up big time in 2002 with No Child Left Behind. And we began to experience something in America that was a phenomenon that had never happened before. We began to hear the term school failure. Schools were failing all over the country. And they were failing not because they weren't teaching the kids. They were failing because they weren't hitting certain percentages that were required with No Child Left Behind for that particular year. We're not going to go into that in detail because it's too complicated. It's too timely for this YouTube video. But accountability really ramped up in 2002 with high stakes testing due to No Child Left Behind. And we began to see the phenomenon of school failure, school takeover, school elimination, all because schools were not hitting a percentage that they were required to hit for that particular year in the testing program. So accountability is high stakes testing. That's what it means. It also means teachers teaching to the test. Now, this is a reality that we all have to admit. We all know what's going on. And we don't blame teachers for that because the stakes are too high for them to allow students not to be taught what is going to be on the test. But what we have to understand in doing that is that we are limiting the education of a child when we teach to the test. Every teacher will tell you that. This is a program that we must move away from, and it is a part of accountability. Accountability is also collecting large amounts of data on the children through the testing program. And this is something that parents are very much opposed to. The opposition is growing day by day as parents become more aware of exactly what's going on with that data collection. So we have to move away from that. Now, let me tell you one more thing that the accountability system is, and it is extremely discriminatory, especially toward the Title I schools that are in our neighborhoods of poverty in the inner cities. The same accountability system that rates a school in the affluent suburban neighborhoods is the same accountability system that rates the school that's located in a neighborhood of poverty in the inner city. Now, these two are never going to become equal. What the accountability system is pushing for is what's termed equity in outcomes. And equity in outcomes is their goal, and the reason why they don't move away from the same accountability standards being applied across the board. Well, we've been in this program for 25 years, going back to the early 90s. And it hasn't improved yet. And that's because there are things that are beyond the school's ability to remedy. We have to accept the fact that the things that are in the neighborhood come into the school. And the conditions that the kids live under in our neighborhoods of poverty are not anything like what the kids live in the areas of affluency. This is not ever going to become equity in outcomes. But if we set a quantified number and we set a target line for what a school has to achieve in their outcomes on the test through the performance of their children, their students on the test, then we have a mechanism whereby we can fail the schools. And when we fail the schools, then we open up the door for corporations, business, lobbyists, politicians to move in, make money, and control the school. That's the accountability system. Also, we live in an atmosphere of fear with the accountability system. We have third graders that are having meltdowns because of the pressure that is applied to them to make a passing grade on the test. No third grader, or anybody for that matter in school, should feel that type of pressure. It's criminal. We have to move away from the accountability system. As long as we put a quantified number on a school and build into the law the ability of the state education agency to come in and take over that school because they didn't meet the quantified figure that was required for that year, as long as we have that system in place, then we're going to have a system that is criminal in its nature. And that's just the cold, hard facts. There's fraud, deceit, and deception in the accountability system. It is not about an upline approval from your principal and superintendent or your parents in the community. It is about a hard line system of fear and deceit and fraud that has allowed the whole public school system to be taken over. And now we have the new A through F. We don't need to have any school rated A through F until every congressman and every senator is graded A through F, and that letter is placed on their door for everyone to see. You think they'll approve of that type of legislation? I don't think so. Well, now we're moving forward, and we have this lull in our timeline, and we're hoping that the president will change his mind for the Secretary of Education, and we're hoping that he will give a critical look to the new federal law that is governing all the public schools across America. I'm Dr. Pat Huff, and that has been some more truth and accountability. Y'all take care, and I'll see you next time.